Ooh, absolute Wonder Woman, tackling all things. Absolute Diana. Join us. I think we are live. I think the people out there can hear us, reach out to us, which means there's nothing else left to say but hello, everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you can only be here for one reason, and it's a brand new episode of the Major Issues Podcast, brought to you each and every week by ComicBookClique.com. And as always, I am never alone. Sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? It's John Escudero, aka Yogi. I'm in the house.
Yogi's in the house, and I know it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. What just got released not too long ago, what everybody's talking about is Wonder Man, which is exactly why we're tackling his counterpart, Absolute Wonder Woman, today as part of the major issue.
No,
Is that not why we're?
no,
Is that
that
not?
does
That
that
doesn't.
that's not right at
Is that,
all.
is that not? No, we've been doing a deep dive in the Absolute universe, and I wanted to finish this Trinity before we decided whether or not we were going to cover Wonder Man in general because it's been so fun to dissect these very, very popular books and try to get to the nitty gritty as to what they are trying to say. I will just offer this up, first, but this is the book I think I had the hardest time trying to understand, even though I enjoyed it. Does that make sense? Like I felt like I was mostly going on the ride with this, where Batman and Superman, I would say. Batman, I think the most, has such dense lore up front with world building for everyone else. And the Absolute Wonder Woman stories for me felt very um comic booky. Like it felt like, I guess because in my opinion, Diana of the three has the smallest chip on her shoulder. So her stories kind of end in a level. She brings a lot more optimism and a lot more just lets everyone have a good time to the party than I think the other two. What's your
I think
take
it's a
on?
little deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little bit deeper than that, especially because it's more of with this. It's more of like it feels like more of like a character study more than anything. Like, which is I think I remember what Scott Snyder kind of originally asked for. Right, well, he was like, we want to break these characters down to their basics and see if they still work, see if they still shine their brightest. And with Wonder Woman, more than anyone else, it's like the, the the idea of this character where she's supposed to be compassionate. Above all, I think a lot of people get lost in the warrior idea of her, but the compassion in the face of everything else around her, a lot of familiar things, especially like there was a moment in the book where she kind of shows Gaia the horrors of the earth, and I was like, God damn, like a lot of these a lot of those panels are not like story things; those are just things that are happening to us like right now,
Yeah.
and it's like her continued compassion in the face of all those things is supposed to be an inspiration to us, like an ideal to strive towards. Sometimes the actual Wonder Woman is supposed to be that, but she's kind of lost in her own lore for so long that I think stripping her of all these superficial, the mascara, Amazon things, this absolute Wonder Woman sort of it shines even brighter. It's like the same energy Diana was supposed to bring, but it's like
Right.
tenfold. Like she's
100%.
like pure love, like for everything.
This is gonna sound blasphemous, but this reading this run felt like one of the first times I kind of got the essence of the character, and I think what this line is actually
It's
trying to do.
definitely blasphemous.
It's trying to distill. But that's what I was going to turn it over to you. What is your definitive Wonder Woman, and how does this sort of compare in comparison to the things that you like about your version of Wonder Woman? Who wrote your version of Wonder Woman? I guess I should ask up front.
George Perez. Just George Perez's Wonder Woman. George Perez's Wonder Woman should be like the baseline Wonder Woman for everyone. Everyone's foundational Wonder Woman reading should start with that. And then I feel like you'll have a full understanding of what Wonder Woman is supposed to be today. And then sometimes you'll understand why people get mad at some of the later things that fly in the face of that run. It's like, how dare you? You know, like that's the essence of the character. That's kind of what I like about this so much. Like it's not so much in the same way that the absolute Batman is like speaking directly to the Dark Knight Returns, but this book has sort of the essence of George Perez's Wonder Woman. Like it feels very much within the spirit of what I think Wonder Woman is supposed to be, which is why it's like I remember we were talking about this before, where it's like, man, fucking Batman's out here, he's fighting Nazis. Superman is like dealing with ice, and
Yeah,
fucking Wonder Woman is like, I've come from hell, and I'm trying to find out. First, I'm trying to find my sisters, and
yeah,
then I'm trying to find out what the fuck is wrong with this world. Like you people are sick,
right.
like, but I love you anyway. It's sort of something that we don't have in real life. We just don't have that. Nobody wants to understand each other. Nobody tries to understand each other. That's just not a thing that happens anymore. You either are on this side or you're on that side, and I hate you for it. That's it.
Yeah,
It's just what it is. But I think that having a character like this is it's important just as it is. I think it says enough. And so when you kind of see that, when you look at it that way, then you kind of look around her, you can see the things that are placed like in her world that represent sort of the more relevant social injustices of like right now and like how she is in the face of that. It's like we need some of that. That's why I think it's like, oh, and this is like one of the best absolute books right now. Like this one's powerful in its own way.
yeah, yeah. I definitely got that through reading it, and like I think one of the big themes is this like sort of transformative nature of love, right? And how things don't always have to be what you perceive them to be. With love and with compassion and with heart, you can actually transform people, mindsets, whole groups. And I think that in itself is powerful. But I
But then
totally
she'll
get.
slit your throat. Like if it doesn't work, like if it doesn't work, like if we've tried everything that we can, right? I think the most important thing is to try. Like
Yes,
that's the biggest thing. Like people are like, well, it's all sunshine and rainbows. Well, like actually no, because if it doesn't work, she'll just kill you because you
yes,
have to
he
die
has a
now.
very big
Like
sword.
then we've tried
Yeah,
everything else, and I'd like you to know my sword gets very large.
yes,
Like we could do this one way or the other way, but I'd really like to do it this way.
right. And I think that in an effort to sort of edge up a lot of these characters, like you said, they've been leaning pretty heavily on the warrior aspect of Wonder Woman recently, and I sometimes I feel like it can lead to an imbalance. Um, I understand the criticism of it. Mainline Diana sometimes, depending on who they write, who's writing her, can seem like she infantilizes humanity. Like she treats humanity like they're little kids that are, they don't know any better. Um, but in almost like a way that doesn't give us a lot of agency. Where I feel like this Diana has a little bit more understanding. And when you talk about someone literally raised in paradise, right? Literally raised on Paradise Island, the most beautiful, the strongest, the daughter of a god, and the literal queen of the entire island. It's easy for you to be nice when everyone has you spend your entire life with everyone being nice to you. And this Diana is a person who in hell, right, had to fight every day for her life because they were trying to kill her at every obstacle. So the idea that she can still maintain compassion in this um means a lot as far as the character development goes. One of the other things that I feel, and I am completely unqualified to talk on this matter, is that I feel like this book is a lot about mothers and the power of motherhood and the power of womanhood,
Daughters,
daughters.
well, mothers, daughters, like lost daughters. Just it's definitely from a place that we can't
Yeah,
relate
right,
to.
right,
We're
right.
just
Yes,
man. I but
very.
it's a I don't know. This book feels like a nice warm hug.
It does.
I love reading this book. Like it's like, hi Diana. Like, I feel like Steve. Like,
Yeah.
hi, like I'm here to help
Yes.
if you need me.
That's the other thing. Like we live in a world where every sort of actual crisis then gets amplified tenfold with propaganda, fear tactics, and just it's an intense amount of fog that when it comes to stuff like this. Whereas in this story, at any given time, the city could be rampaged by a bunch of animals, and she's like calmly talking to everybody, each individual person that she needs to talk to. She could be bleeding from her arm, and she'll be like, "All right, guys, so what we're gonna do next is, we're gonna walk everyone across the street." Incredibly calm and incredibly cool, collected. They could have went berserker with her, and they did in a lot of freaking ways. I mean, we'll talk about the real metal parts of this character, but um I love that she leads with love. I love that she leads with do you hear all that time like what is it like you get the respect that you give kind of stuff. She leads automatically respecting people. She doesn't, she doesn't come guarded. She gives everyone the same opportunity to be good, and even if you're bad, she will give you another opportunity to be good. Not so many. You end up getting a limb chopped off or something, but there is, like you said, grace there, mercy there.
Another thing about this book that I thought was interesting, I actually didn't really expect. Maybe this is underspoken. I don't know if people are talking about this enough. This seems to be the book that's most aware of what the absolute universe is. And I think this is going to be the one that tries to address it first. Like, from the beginning, they talk about how this universe is wrong. Like, and
Yeah,
then Pete mentioned they talk about that a lot throughout the run. Like, she was created to be the light. Like, something is wrong. We created her because something is wrong. Like, she was created in this universe because they know something is wrong. She's meant to like change it. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Like, none of the other books have addressed the fact that they've been created. I mean, well, not overtly. Like sometimes they'll make reference to it. Like Absolute Martian Manhunter made a really cool reference to it. It was like, holy shit. And Batman, not Batman, it happened in the Absolute Evil one shot, I think, where the
yeah,
Joker Grim is the one that discovers that the universe is aimed downwards and the
yeah. The Omega
literal
particle.
law, yeah, the omega particle. So like people are figuring it out, but I feel like Absolute Wonder Woman has just been addressing it all the way through. Like this is what it's leading towards, and it makes sense that she was eventually the first person to uh reach out and team up with another person in the Absolute Universe. She had been mentioning them from the beginning. She's like very interested in the idea that there's other people out there fighting. And she talks about it all the time. And she's really interested in these others.
Yeah.
There's others like me out there.
What's interesting though is like you can point to both of those books and like just see a level of like crash out with Batman, and you can see like a level of crash out with Clark. And then again, Diana could be fighting a million fish people and still be like super chill and giving somebody like a recipe while she's doing it. Like she's it. I love the shift in tone here. This we needed her to balance out the rest of what this Trinity is, and then obviously the other books around it to kind of give it like this buffet of the absolute universe up front. I just want we're obviously going to be talking about Absolute Wonder Woman, dissecting it, talking spoilers. So up front, Absolute Wonder Woman is a superhero comic book series published by DC Comics based on the character of Wonder Woman. The series is written by Kelly Thompson and illustrated by Hayden Sherman. The series focuses on a version of Wonder Woman who is raised in hell rather than Themyscira, as in most depictions of the character. This Diana is less a symbol of peace and more of a mythic warrior queen struggling between compassion and conquest. It began publication on October 23rd, 2024, as part of DC's Absolute Universe, and the comic has received critical acclaim due to its characterization of Diana, reinvention of Wonder Woman, and the art by artist Hayden Sherman. One of the things we have panels that we'll be putting up as we discuss and dissect this character, but this book has some of the most fun panel layouts I've ever seen in comic books. Like especially recently, like just the fun Hayden Sherman is having creating these symbols and putting these panels in the order that he wants to. There's a moment where Diana is forging a headquarters for her and her crew, and it's just like these spirals of text and pictures and stuff. Some of them as small as your thumb, only getting bigger. Really, really using the real estate of the page. What could you speak to Hayden's work here in this?
It's another thing that harkens back like to like George Perez Wonder Woman. Like George Perez used to do a lot of that cool panel layout stuff. Like with it would be like instead of paneling, it would be like Greek statues or like cool shit like that. But he was a maniac who would put 500 people in the same page too. So
Yes.
like, like um like I said, that's another thing that like speaks right back to like that Wonder Woman. My Wonder Woman is like, wow, this feels so right. Everything about this feels right. It also gives me J.H. Williams vibes. J.H. Williams from Batwoman. Uh, another one that just the paneling is as interesting as the story. I'm always looking to see what shape he's created here. They're in a maze. The paneling is a maze. They're
Hmm.
fighting a panther god. The paneling creates a panther. She's like lifting grass to make something out of grass, and like the panels are like leaf blades.
Hmm.
It's 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 gorgeous. This book is beautiful. Not even just the panel layouts, but the art, the designs.
Yeah.
Um, Wonder Woman herself, like her face, there's something about her that's just warm, and she doesn't just look like Diana from DCU. Kind of, um, I don't know. I mean, none of the Trinity really just look like the person that that they're married after. I guess it
Yeah.
depends on who's drawing it, but Diana definitely has a distinct look. Like she's something about her. Like Hayden Sherman. Oh God, this fucking masterpiece. The thing that's crazy is that when it changes to a different artist because of whatever, they'll do like little 2 issue arcs and it'll be someone else. It's like, damn, no hate on y'all, but uh, now we're back to like regular paneling, and it's like, oh,
Well,
get
similarly,
get me
like
back.
even the what is this? Dan Panosian, Panosian, Panosian.
Penosian. Yeah.
He does this amazing thing I got behind me, but I still don't feel like it's 100% the Diana that I've been reading. Very good art, but like you said, the take on the character is a bit different, and it's funny, like you said, like she comes in like a warm hug, but the very first panel we ever saw of her was her like coming out of blood in DC All In special, coming out of blood, riding her Pegasus, and there's something to that there that also I don't know if I have enough experience to talk to, but there's a lot of blood in this, almost like as the elixir of life, women cycles and all this sort of, but like there's something in that too. But another thing, and we'll get to that when we kind of get to the Cersei of it all, is it feels like this book is also trying to, with it being so pro woman and so pro daughters and mothers, another thing I feel like it's trying to do is reclaim witchcraft. That makes sense. Like you think about stuff like Salem witch trials, right? And accusing women of being witches, the terrible, implications of what's were to come after that. Witchcraft in general being seen as something satanic. This kind of grounds it as something natural and almost kind of positions motherhood as his own kind of form of witchcraft or alchemy, or like otherworldly alchemy that only women are able to get to. Am I making any sense in that regard there?
No, I've definitely heard motherhood referred to as alchemy in the past. It's not the first time. Like that's definitely had to have been written somewhere.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
uh but yeah, I agree with you about the idea of life bringing blood, the connection to bringing life, mothers, daughters. It's definitely there. Although just like you, I'm not sure I'll be able to articulate it as good as someone who experiences it.
Yeah. One of the things that this book is just trying to hammer home is this idea that, where, or I guess the universe in general, like if we were to change where these heroes were to start, that it would effectively change who they are as characters. Um, I think the thesis is that they won't change as characters, but this is what Darkseid is hoping happens. That's why this whole universe is created. So in this version, of Wonder Woman, the Amazons are actually annihilated before Diana could ever be raised amongst them. Themyscira is a place she doesn't know. She's actually brought forth to Hell, the wild isle of Hell, by Apollo, who cast the infant Diana, acting out of divine arrogance. The gods assume destiny is dictated by environment, and expect Hell to corrupt her. Um, and she's given to this witch Circe, um, almost to fail outright. What do you think? What do you think was the
I
whole
think,
point here?
but I think they cast her down there to die. But
Yeah,
the god, what's her name? I didn't know if it was like Hecate or Hecat,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hecate. But I feel like they had different plans for the baby, and they gave it to Cersei, and they set their plans in motion. But now that you mentioned that, I did like that another theme of the book, because of where I'm from. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the South Bronx, the dirtiest part of the South Bronx, the southest South part. So like the you talk about products of your environment and nature versus nurture. Like that's a real big theme in this book. They've even axed it straight up in case you weren't getting it. They were like punk here. uh
I will be also the sensitive one in the group and say, like, to your testimony of your upbringing, did it not take a woman doing some alchemy to make ends meet, to
oh
get
yeah.
things across the board in regards to how shitty? That's my entire life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grandma in the projects with 3-bedroom apartment having Christmas with 36, 40 of us in there. We're all fed somehow, some way. We all fit. You understand? Some fucking magic took place to allow those things to happen. And I that I really understand, and that's something that I really get to. Cersei, I'm seeing pop up here, and this is somebody that's not been like, dare I say, not an A-list Wonder Woman villain. What do you say to this character, and how do
No.
you like this depiction of this character?
Well, I love what they did with it. It's interesting that she had just come off of being on TV for the first time too. I think in
Yep,
the
Creature
Creature
Commandos.
Commandos.
Yep, yep, yep.
But I think that this book had a big, I don't know about mandate, but I guess Kelly Thompson wanted to tackle the magic in this absolute DC universe. Although I imagine they were like, you should probably deal with magic because someone should, and this is a book where that makes sense. Uh, so finding someone like Cersei in Wonder Woman's I don't know, it's a rogue gallery, but her lore, that really works. That's probably like, who the fuck is I need a magic person that I can put in hell.
Yeah,
Like where
yeah,
it works for me though. I loved giving her this like this mother figure that Diana's love also transformed, because her energy is like her love is so powerful that she fucking can transform the people around her,
yeah,
not like, with the power, but just with actual love and compassion. So even this evil Cersei, who's like in hell trapped, starts to learn how to love again because she got this baby.
yeah. Which, again, is another thing that happens in actual real life, right? Parentage, I think, takes things to a whole nother level of intensity in regards to actually living your life and having a purpose and a goal. I'm gonna defer to you multiple times, even though you're not the subject matter expert. But is this a recurring theme in Wonder Woman? I've only ever seen it now in Dark. We just talked about Dead Earth, not that long ago. But the whole like the gods ain't shit kind of thing going on here. Apollo
Well,
dropping her off, and Cersei's just like these guys suck. Like so
that's definitely a big theme, because it's like the gods of men, and they're always shitty, and they have all these shitty stories. Like we talked about when we did Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
yeah.
The Amazons were born from the souls of murdered wives, murdered women.
Hmm.
Wonder Woman herself, the soul of a baby that died in the womb of a murdered pregnant wife. Like these themes have been around. Well, like I said, my George Perez is my foundational Wonder Woman. So a lot of the Silver Age stuff, in a lot of the Golden Age stuff. I'm not really a big expert on, not yet
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a long life, hopefully. We'll get to it. But as far as I've been reading, that kind of stuff is always around in Wonder Woman, and it should be. Honestly, the one of the original main villains in that run is Ares, and Ares is jealous that the Amazons exist. Period. Like
Right.
of their beauty of
Like
their existence.
he like considers them like his father's like plaything or something, right? Like his father's like you love them almost like the devil kind of
Yeah,
devil Jesus
like
thing.
they
Like
were
you
made
love me more than you
like
love
they
them
were
more than
made
me.
in defiance. Like they were made in defiance of him.
Yeah,
And he's like, I hate them. I hate them all.
right.
So that I mean that's something in itself. Men that just hate women that they can't have, that they can't control. You
That's
know how
also
that is.
that is very true. I bring it up because before I got like super into superheroes, I loved Greek mythology. And it felt like you're learning about superheroes and villains and lore and how far all this stuff kind of went back. And they are fallible, those gods. I don't think of like I feel like every so often in Thor there's like, oh, and maybe Odin's not as good as he's supposed to be. Where I feel like this story starts off with like, oh, they all suck, and you need to know that they kind of suck. They are, they're all powerful, but they're not all knowing. They're not all altruistic. Um, but I guess having her not stand side by side with them, almost below them, right? Um, allows for that sort of comparison, where she doesn't have to feel like like she's not taking down her kin in this instance. She's taking down the people who like literally gave her death sentence.
In a way, that's true. Because especially in recent times, they had made her like for a little while she was Zeus's daughter, and
Yeah,
it was a little weirder the connections between them. And I think by now she's like teamed up with Ares at some point, so like he's turned on her. Like, but really, the gods, especially the Greek gods, they're also like part of the reason why the Amazons are locked away in why they locked themselves away in the first place. So like they've always been like adversarial, you
yeah,
know. But like taking it a step even further and just it's putting her in hell. It's like doubles down on it.
yeah. And also, it's a good way to get your audience against them off the rip, right? Like leaving this baby in hell is a good way for your audience to make up their own mind about how they feel about these gods here. Um, and yeah, it's a damn shame I cannot pronounce this, but I want to say Hecate. I think you're right. I think it is Hecate.
Right? It sounds Greek.
Um, but the whole idea is that Hecate comes to Cersei and is like, "Yo, not for nothing, but we could use Diana as almost a redemption for all of this and to get back at the gods. And I will help you help her prepare for the future in which she will be needed to do such a thing." Um, I think it's very funny that you kind of dump Diana here. You dump her to like a revolutionary who then trains her to like it's all that stuff is super interesting. And it's also super endearing to watch Cersei deal with like this newfound responsibility, right? This thing is now thing, this child is now looking to her for safety, for wisdom, for comfort, for love. Things that she thought she would never need given where she's at. And now she's had to conjure these things, like we talk about again, magic, alchemy, love, family. Um, she now has to become a different version of herself, a better version of herself to then raise a better version of Diana. Um, what do you think of this whole like secret underground training thing that we kind of see take place as we read this story?
I love it. I love the way it's interweaved. Kind of reminds me of like Naruto used to do this thing with flashbacks where like right before we get to a big right before you get to a big fight, they're like, all right, dump you with lore. Holy shit.
Right.
Like, it works really well here, flashing back and forth like that.
I tell you, man, I fell in love with the Dustin Nguyen pages. young
Little
Diana.
little Diana,
Yeah,
little young Diana.
that stuff was great. I have a panel up here where they're like, you weren't supposed to transform that into that, and she's like, "What? Look how happy it is now. Let's go around and transform everything." She 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 never loses that wild eye eyes. She never loses the wide eye, and I love that depiction of her young. We've seen it a million times, right? This like the child soldier who is like brought up to be overly stoic. I mean, I love Damian Wayne, right? Like I totally get like this whole idea of like trained since birth. This is super serious. Diana has an abundance of joy and of care and of love, almost a superhuman amount given her circumstances. And I just think that that makes for an incredibly endearing character. And watching Cersei, like her heart warm for Diana as she raises her. Again, Cersei, somebody else who was given kind of a death sentence, right? Um, Watching her, she says something at one point like the proof of that you really love your child is being able to let them go. Is that something that you are experiencing now as you're getting older and older children? Are you understanding that sort of?
Well, yeah, it's something you really try not to think about, honestly. Like
Oh,
it's gonna
sorry,
come. It's
sorry.
like yeah, just leave it in the background. It'll come someday. You don't know how, but you prepare just by being prepared.
Right.
Um, that's kind of where she's at too. I mean, she was lucky in knowing that, like knowing that there's gonna be a moment, like there's gonna be a moment where you will lose them forever. I guess you hope that that doesn't happen, but eventually they do. They move away. That's your job as a parent. That's what it's all about. You spend their entire childhood preparing them to be on their own, and then one day they are, and then you are again. Now
Yeah.
you have to deal with that, and that's another thing that's addressed in this story.
Yeah. And um I think that Cersei knows that Diana is going to face just so much obstacles in her way for this, and I think she fears immediately, putting her on that sort of mission. And I think it is through Diana's just lust for life, I guess, that's contagious, that allows um Cersei to believe that this could be something that they could do. They could actually factually craft her into being a weapon to use up against the gods. They didn't outright say what what's the whole beef with the Amazon thing. She wasn't allowed to say it. And I think Cersei literally could not say it. What do you think is surrounding all that?
Well, they just wanted to hide Diana's origin from her.
What do you
They
think is the
wanted to
beef with the
keep
what do you
her
think the beef
from.
with the Amazons though? What do you think why this
I
punishment?
imagined it was the same. I imagined it was this. It was a lot of the same uh war or differences that it was in the original DC universe, where it's like we were created by what's it? Not Aphrodite. Fuck, I forgot. Artemis, Aphrodite.
Yeah,
Fuck, it
yeah.
was a bunch of the lady gods. They got created by them in spite of the male gods, and the male gods, Hercules took the Amazons in, enslaved them, raped them, and all those things happened to them, and that's why they went to Themyscira in the first place. I imagine all those things still happen that way, and Hippolyta still makes the baby out of clay. Like I think up until that point, we can imagine it's all the same or mostly the same. Besides, I guess the absolute evils that have occurred in the
Yeah.
timeline prior to Wonder Woman's existence. Just the idea that the Amazons and the gods already hate each other the same way they do in the regular universe, and they took the baby to spite them because of that.
Yeah.
And sent it to die, really, because they didn't send it to be with Cersei. They sent it to die.
No,
It,
and I
it,
mean,
it's,
spoiler alert,
yeah.
we it is revealed that Hippolyta is still alive. And when she finds out that Diana
All of them, I think.
Diana's
Yeah,
alive,
the whole
the
island.
entire island, yeah, kind of rejoices. So she is the lost daughter of that. I don't know if I'm ready for that reunion. I don't know if I'm ready for, like, I kind of like Wild Out Diana. Do you think she's meant to
I
just kind
think
of
you can.
fold herself back into the pantheon of regular Amazons? Is that a place you could see her going, or do they have to keep her the antithesis of the Amazons?
I feel like they like it, she already had the upbringing, in the Wild Isle in Hell. I think
Mhm.
meeting the Amazons. I don't know if it floats her back into just being like Wonder Woman the regular way. I do think I don't know. Maybe they should die or something. I don't know.
All the
Just to
Amazons.
keep it,
Yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
it different.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, but I don't know if it's gonna hurt the way the character is now if she gets that reunion. It's just again for me, it's not so different from who she already is that if she met back up with her parents, that maybe I mean with her parents, with her mother and her sisters, I don't know. Maybe you do make it too much too similar. So maybe maybe you should just kill, blow the island up.
I mean, she
It's,
might come off. She might come off as like the crazy. What is it? Black sheep, right? Like literally raised in hell. Like maybe she doesn't have manners at the dinner table. Maybe you go, like one of those fish out of water kind of situations where it's like, hey, we don't do that in
she can't.
here. Yeah, but she can't like eat.
I figure she probably like can't get on the island, can't touch it, was in hell for too long, type
Yeah,
thing. It's burns if she gets near them.
yeah.
Like there'll be something to keep them away from each other.
I think while Diana, we looked at people like Clark and we look at people like Bruce, and we can see where they get their sort of love and stuff from. And I understood from past stories this relationship between Hippolyta and Diana, but again, when you're the queen, you're supposed to say like nice things and regal things and things that sound perfect. Cersei being able to, like we were talking about, bringing her in regardless of how she initially felt, where she was like, I'm not gonna raise this kid, right? She starts off as like an unwanted responsibility, and then raising her as an act of defiance. And yeah, I think when you see Diana and her do magic, imbue tools with magic, I just feel like it's what we were talking about. It's motherhood being framed as a form of magic rooted in commitment and care, and a foundational kind of form of magic where it makes hostile environments livable and it makes love, break down barriers. And um, I think it's kind of confronting the whole like you can't be a witch because then you're like the daughter of Satan kind of thing. Um, which I guess is a time to ask a random question here. Where is your take on witchcraft, sir? Do you believe in witchcraft, voodoo? Do you believe in the mystic arts, the dark arts? Well, I guess not dark arts, but get
I
what I'm
don't. I guess I'm too. I've never been a big believer in supernatural things the way that we depict them in stories. Anyway, I
Yeah,
think if they are supernatural, then they are supernatural, and we'd have a harder time to describe or explain them. There'll be things that I can't even imagine.
right.
So, like, I don't know, but the idea that there's some way to manipulate the odds in your favor. It's not like too far fetched. I'm sure there's some unknown science, like some unknown science that some ancient people probably figured out at some
Mm-hmm.
point, and
Yeah,
there's still remnants of that knowledge out there somewhere. But
yeah.
yeah, that's about as far as I'll take it.
I think that this book even kind of like lays that out and similarly, right? But at one point, Bruce and Diana are together, and she basically says that magic is kind of like a science, and that's something that they've said in Thor before. And I guess that's kind of where I sit on this. I believe that we are dumb ants that think that we're the smartest. We are probably the smartest on the planet. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what other animals we could talk to kind of compare that to. But
It's a
like,
curse.
yeah, it,
It's
it's
a
it's
curse.
it's only our baseline knowledge of everything, and we think we know it all. And I feel like sometimes with magic, I feel the same way, kind of like about music. I feel like music is like the kind of how they talk about like in metal and stuff, like vibrations and stuff like that. Like all cultures have come to music independently, right? All cultures have come to drum and rhythm and vibes and frequencies independently. There's something there that we haven't tapped into. We hit a wall because of our very little brains and have kind of stopped there. And I feel like we've done that at various different points. Um, and I do think that there is something to being of the earth, right? Whether it be like how Diana, face to things before they die, stuff that you would see like in Native American rituals and stuff like that. Just an overall respect for the earth that you come from. You're not above it, you're amongst it, you're living in it. And I think that certain, especially the old school sort of magics, believe that as well. You're not you're just dealing with or manipulating things that exist on this earth, on this plane that you are grateful to be a part of. And I really like how much magic she. It's like oftentimes I hear about like Doctor Doom and he's like magic and technology, and then you get to like a new comic and it's just like shooting lasers and stuff like that. And I wish it was more sort of this stuff here, and so much blood, so much fucking blood, bro. I think at one point they said that Diana had a pint of blood on her face. She was just walking around with a pint of blood on her face. What do you think about Diana using magic as often as she does here in this story?
Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier. It's like th this was definitely meant to be like the magic book because it's not only Diana, it's redefining the way magic looks in the DC universe. Like, obviously, they eventually bring in Zatanna and they do like the traditional backwards spells, but prior to that, it's like runes and you can't even read the spells and prayer circles and tribute circles and all this other witchcraft and magic. And she learned from Cersei. She got raised by Cersei. So I mean, I love this. I love Absolute Wonder Woman being the magic book.
Yeah, and we were talking about before, like having that reverence for it. One of the things that they say up front is like none of this magic comes without some level of sacrifice. And the more, right, the bigger thing you're trying to accomplish, the more you have to end up sacrificing. But you can't tell the story without kind of, like I said, going into familiar tracks. And one of the, parts of the Wonder Woman lore is the discovery of Steve Trevor. Steve Trevor, did they ever say how he got to hell?
That's a good question.
I feel like they
Uh,
might have, and
I
maybe I didn't grab it.
I I might have missed it. I don't remember what the fuck he was doing when he got sent to hell.
Yeah,
Damn.
can't remember exactly what it was. Someone is probably yelling it at me now. But I'm thinking, I mean, if you're going to hell, is this she died?
He didn't. He wasn't dead. I remember he asked too. He was like, "Am I dead?" She's like, "Well, you don't seem to be. You're not.
Right,
You don't belong here. We're gonna
right,
get you out of here."
yeah.
Um. So I gotta get back. I gotta look back and see what he did.
But she brings him there, and she sits with her for. They sit together for a while with Cersei and stuff, and I like that Cersei immediately can suss that she digs him like that. And I guess you could if you're the mother, right? Like if your mother would know, and she can tell that Diana has a little bit of interest in Steve, is what I'll say, right? Um, and there's this whole big thing where it's like, how we need to get him back. Like if you're saying that I'm going to be a superhero and I'm somebody that saves people, then this is my first big test. I need to be able to save this young man and bring him back where we got to bring him back to. And her mother's like, no, it's that type of magic that will take will cost too much. And Diana's like, well, I'll just
I
give
already
him my
paid.
arm. I'll just give him my fucking arm.
She
I
literally cuts her arm off, her
bro,
whole arm off. It's gone, and that made me close my book and go back to the other issues. I was like, did she have a fucking arm like gone this whole time? Because like,
right.
yeah, they're like, oh, it's a magic arm. I was like,
Yeah.
you motherfuckers.
Silly magic arm always tricking me.
One thing about Diana and Steve is that Cersei mentions that, do you have an interest in this guy? And Wonder Woman immediately snaps back like, yeah, I'm interested in everything, where he came from and all of that. And I genuinely get that feeling. I didn't feel like, oh gosh, no, I'm blushing. I don't like Steve. It felt like she's like everything that she comes across, she gives that kind of energy to, like
Yeah,
women, men, creatures. It's just like I'm so I'm so available to you. Like
yeah,
I'm here for you. It's with the same with Bruce. It's the same with Etta Candy and her sister. It's the same with Barbara Minerva. All these people you could argue like, oh gosh, she's got this great chemistry with. We're all making the jokes about how Darkseid was gave Wonder Woman a gay magic girlfriend. And it's like, but she gave that same energy that she gave Zatanna, the same energy she gave everyone else. I mean, you could argue she's got that. She just loves everyone.
yeah. She has a love for humanity, and that's something that Clark is often shown to have. But um, this, especially not the Clark here, right? It was a little bit more vengeful. This Diana, like I said, there's a compassion there, and the old saying is right, like, oh, that guy, great guy, he would take the shirt off his back. Like this is that saying tenfold, right? Like what? There was no hesitation in cutting off the arm in an effort to get Steve where he needed to go. And I feel like that is an awesome character moment to show you the lack of hesitation she has to help anyone. And I love that it wasn't just she's not doing this because of this like womanly, crush, or like this is not like an act of passion here. There's almost a matter of fact nature to she. I think of all the three that we've covered so far, has the clearest distinction of what right and what wrong is, and what you're supposed to do in those instances. Because I think the other two can have a habit of giving in to their worst sort of vengeful nature, and I don't think we've seen that with Diana yet. Am I getting that wrong?
Not yet. I have a feeling that if they turn humanity on her, we're gonna see her face a real challenge because that we kind of got a taste of that in. I'm sure it's happened other times too. It's happened a lot of times in DC history where kind of humanity turns on Diana for one reason or another, next snapping on television or whatever the case may be. Um, but this Diana, it feels like it will affect her so much to have the people that she cares about now hate her.
Yeah.
How can she win their love back? I think is something that she's gonna have to deal with next.
I think another big portion of this, and you deal with this with like Superman, right? But um, it's not only the rejection from humanity or mankind, but what happens when her sisters say, like, "What are you doing this for?" You know what I'm saying? Like, it's also the criticism from her own people, who will obviously be like, "These people aren't worth it. Like, what are you doing?" And whether or not Diana finds a balance there, um, I love, and this comes from the Wonder Woman movie, but it's the idea that it's not what people deserve. Diana does not give people what people deserve. Diana gives people what she believes in. And
What I
people,
believe in.
yeah, people deserve probably less. Humanity probably deserves less. I don't know. But Diana doesn't believe in giving humanity less, and will literally give her arm for some dude. Completely just gone. Without a second thought. I think that's super cool there. And I also like that it's a magic arm, that it being a magic arm without offending anybody is silly. I'll say, I want to use the word silly, because I then want to say then that you would think, okay, it's magic, it's a magic arm, okay, it just pops on and off. But like then it requires like humongous sacrifice, and humongous you know, there's still
Yeah,
stakes even in the silly magic arm. They still find a way to put stakes and still find a way to put, some gravity to it. It's not just something you can just do and you can just conjure. And I like having weight to all of the things that she does. It makes the magic mean more. It's not just hocus pocus stuff happening. Like everything has a price. And I like that. And I like that not only that everything has a price, but that she's been shown so clearly to not care about paying.
Magic prosthetic arm is like the my favorite three words I've said all night. She's got a magic prosthetic arm. Is that ableist? I'm not sure. Like anti, I don't know. Like
I,
it
I
looks like a regular arm, bro.
I do like later on when she's dealing with the tetracide when she just has the really skinny metal arm attached to her. And again, like non-fussed about it, not stressed about it, not making a big deal. Oh yeah, that was my arm. Arm's off. I'll just put this in. She's so chill dealing with all this, and I guess that
Oh
is
my
what it
god.
is being a woman in hell.
She's she's got that purse. And there's always the joke about the purse, how women's purses just have infinite
Have
fucking space.
everything.
And in cartoons, I don't know, like Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers stuff, they have something called hammer space. They just kind of pull hammers out of their ass. You could just pull an anvil out of your pocket.
Hmm.
She has a fucking hammer space purse. They don't call it that, but they make reference to it being cartoonish. And I
Yeah,
was like, they know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, she has a goddamn hammer space purse. Everything is in the purse. It
yeah,
doesn't matter what size it is. It's in her purse.
yeah. Let's that's a perfect little segue. Let's talk about Diana up front. I'm just showing off the image on the cover there. I want to ask you, what do you think about this design here? What are some of your favorite
Which
elements? Some elements. Well, it's just with her riding the Pegasus in the cover of,
okay.
I believe, the first one.
Oh, just the absolute Wonder Woman design, period.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah,
red
yeah.
and black fucking works. I also I dig her crown. I noticed how they put like she's still got like the WWs, but it's on her arms
Yeah.
instead. Uh the idea that everything she wears is a weapon.
Yes,
That's
yes,
awesome. You
yeah.
know?
It's
The
also like,
sword, the sword is just the sword and the Pegasus, man. The sword and the dead Pegasus. Like, come on. Off the back, this is another one of those like absolute Batman things where it's like, oh, it looks extreme and dark. Oh my god! And then when you read the book, it's like a fucking warm, flowery hug, and it smells like strawberries. Like
yeah, yeah.
like I love it. I love that the design is in contrast to who she actually is because she came from fucking hell.
It it did come from hell. I love the black. I think the thing that really makes this design evocative for me is the sort of like, I don't know, like tribal or henna markings on her. It definitely
On the
makes it,
magic arm.
yeah, it definitely makes it seem otherworldly. I just love that sort of thing. And then like all, like I think they say it at one point, but all of this stuff is like patchwork. She doesn't have pristine armor that she goes out there and irons and stuff like that. These are like pieces she cut off of the basilisk or the fucking griffin or the fucking, or this or that, and has managed to put them together in a pretty cool way. Um, you get this beautiful panel here on the first page where it says beauty, grace, compassion, and kindness. While she is taking the blood of her enemy and spraying it across her face. But you have this you have the war helmet, right? The terrifying, black and red war helmet. You have the fur around her shoulders. Um, that sword. You have the where is it at? That's her just being awesome. Um, but yeah, her armor like appears like scavenged and uneven and built instead of like being like a gift from anyone. Um, the prosthetic arm that we were just talking about, a visible mark of her sacrifice. Um, he's like designed for endurance because she endured, right? And um, I think that's a testament to Hayden Sherman's design for this character. Black lipstick? Am I getting that right? Is that what
I
she?
love it. It is black lipstick. I got it. I got it in my little panel behind my head here. She's definitely got black lipstick on.
Yeah, black lipstick. And then you get these other artists who get on, and like, I mean, it even happens with Hayden's work too. But you have this moment here, like I just talked about, with her covering her face with blood, and then you go to this panel of her young or her talking to Steve, and she just has like the biggest, brightest blue eyes, right? Just innocent baby blues, just wide eyed, and
Yeah,
and Go ahead.
It's an interesting design choice to have her eyes go red like that whenever she uses like magic. I was like, okay, that's
Hmm.
cool. I don't. I think that it will mean something later on,
Hmm.
but we're not there yet.
No, that is true. Um, but yeah, I love the design of this. We were talking about how she even built as a weapon of war. It's so the juxtaposition is so vast. You look at this woman and you would think that she would just be a ruthless killer who just lives on killing kind of stuff. And some Wonder Woman, like I remember though, Wonder Woman in Injustice had a hard on for just like fascism and shit. She's all like, whoever has to die. But this is a Wonder Woman built out of necessity, not like her mission is not to kill. Things that she has that can kill keeps on her. They do like a cool. What is it? Is it the They had a really cool moment with her and Hakate, if I'm saying that right, where they're training her to take down a basilisk or something. And he's like, you need to go get me that orb. And he throws it in the ocean with the basilisk or whatever. And she goes and she gets the orb, gives it to Hecate, and then takes it back immediately. And he goes, "What are you doing with that?" And she goes, "Oh, I made a deal with the with the Hydra that he'd give it to me so long as I went back and gave it back to him." And he's like, "What are you doing? You were supposed to forge a weapon." And she goes, "The best weapon was bargain." And it's just like it seems like something so clear and so simple that it would just that everyone would get it, but he comes to it like it almost reminds me that I'm old and locked in my ways, right? Like I've gotten to that point of being old and like not having the wild ideas of how to tackle society's ills, and then you have this little kid come up and be like, "Why don't we just bargain? Why does it have to be murder? Why does it automatically have to be bloodshed and violence and stuff?" And yeah, it's the Alfred looking at Bruce. It's just looking at another generation being able to see things clearer, see the answers clearer, and a better answer than what they've been told. That is a testament to not only Diana's optimism and compassion, but Cersei being able to find any of that left in herself to give to Diana. You know. Um. So yeah, I think I have here now some of her gear. There's some of her gear right there. So you have her big old sword. I'm not sure if it was named particularly.
I don't think we had a name for it.
Um, he has three lassos. Are you pro or against multiple lassos?
I'm all right with it. Everything was they all have different uses, right? We've only seen the red one so far.
We've seen the
I
red
think I
one
don't
and the
remember.
green one. Because the green one is what she uses to turn into Medusa
Oh, okay, that's
uh
right.
in
That's
the
right.
when she takes on the Tetracide. The blue one, it just says it's designed for restraint and capture. The green channels witchcraft focused on change rather than punishment. It alters form or state instead of delivering death. And then the red one is formed from Titan remains and alchemical venom, capable of harming or killing gods, reserved for moments when restraint is no longer viable. Um, at one point, an otherworldly being tries to grab the lassos and they can't even use it. She's put it to the point that she's the only one that is able to hold on to any of these magical artifacts, or at least the
Of
lassos.
course.
Um,
Why would it? You should have your weapons bio locked
yes,
if possible.
yes, you should. Do you think we'll get a original recipe yellow lasso?
Well, red and blue are primary colors, right? But green is not. Green is blue and
No,
yellow combined.
green's primary. Red, blue,
Oh,
green, yellow.
I got it confused. Okay, I thought
No,
it was
you're right.
three.
Yellow and
Yeah.
blue do make green, but it is probably one of the primary colors for some strange reason. I don't know
Man,
how
Green,
that happens.
get the fuck out of here, Green. You don't go here, bro. You're a fucking poser. Yellow has to come. Yellow has to come across eventually.
Yeah.
Well, those are the four comic colors, though.
Yes,
Yellow,
they are.
blue, green, red. Four
Yes.
color comics. We got
Yes.
to get that yellow in there eventually.
I
It's
will.
just a regular rope. She just uses a regular
Yeah,
rope.
yeah, yeah. Just for color purposes. I will say
I
that.
will say,
Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say this book doesn't have nearly enough bondage
No, no,
for
no,
a
no, no,
Wonder
no.
Woman book.
No. How did you feel about the issue drawn where she goes to go meet with Prometheus? I gotta find out who drew that is.
Yeah, that was awesome. Actually, I really like that. I like that whole story.
Yeah.
She gets him to cut off a tip of her tip of. She has to cut off a tip of his finger for some blood, so she can make this red lasso of
It's
death. No,
it's
that's not what they called it.
Prometheus.
It's called sacrifice.
Prometheus is, if in case you didn't know, he is the person, a regular human, I believe, who stole fire from the gods to bring it to humanity. And because of that, he was punished with being chained to a rock, I believe, and like pecked on by ravens forever. I think that's the actual punishment. And so Diana goes over there and frees him, and he's like, "Well, like this won't last. They'll just come back and bind me." And she's like, "Yeah, but I thought you could use a break." And it's just like little, like what a sweet little thing there. What a sweet little. She she can't fix everything all the time, and she can't come up with the next humongous solution. But I can help you for a little bit. Like I can, do that there. And I think she asked for like a little bit of something. Like, can I have a little bit of your blood, or whatever? And by that point, he had already been so moved with her compassion
Yeah,
that he's like, take a finger or whatever. Fuck, like he's like, girl, like, yeah, what you
it
want?
was. It sounded like more, and then it looked like more, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like that's so much. That's unnecessary."
Yeah,
But he's such a fucking giant
he's
that it was the
huge.
equivalent of like a paper cut. Like he
Yeah,
was like, "Take what you need. Just make sure it bleeds."
yeah,
And it's like a lot, but it's like yeah, it'll be all right. Sure.
yeah. She
he
comes with like
he gave her the fingertip.
yeah. She showed up with like a little vial, a bottle, and he's like, nah, yeah, you can have some of that. But the best thing that she got from my boy Prometheus, and one of the stars of the show, Pegasus. Pegasus is here. What I love is
I love
that
him.
at one point, um, Diana's talking about Pegasus to Steve, and it's like, "Oh yeah, that's Pegasus," and he's like, "You named your Pegasus Pegasus," and she's like, "No, that is Pegasus, like the Pegasus." Like like I'm not naming it after the very famous mythological creature. This is the very famous mythological creature that apparently at one point got on the bad side of Zeus, and so now it's all skeletal. Um, I'm a Nightmare Before Christmas fan, so to me that's just zero. Little dog, little skull dog, or the ghost dog. What do you think of Pegasus in this? Because I mean, we haven't. I don't think we've gotten to an invisible jet yet.
This is so much better than an invisible jet. I
Yeah.
also like that Steve's first his first thought is ask, can he pet it?
Yes.
Well, can I pet it? Yeah, his he finds your presence soothing.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's great.
My
She's like
hellspawn
Cinderella, where
hurts.
she's so she's can communicate with animals,
Yes, she can.
and
Yes.
that's like
She's a Disney
I love that.
princess.
I love that. She's like,
Yeah. Um, but basically everything that we have told you up until now is the past of Diana. How she was brought to the Wild Isle, how she was raised under Cersei, the machinations of Hecate, how Steve Trevor showed up in Hell, and how he was subsequently saved by Diana. And now we kind of move to the inciting incidents that create the rest of this story thus far. Obviously, we won't be going, panel by panel, but Diana finds herself in man's land or out of hell, uh, going to Gateway City to save the citizens there because a harbinger has shown up, and usually after the harbinger, a terrifying creature called the Tetracide shows up. But before any of that happens, we get this cool little moment between Diana and Steve. They're reuniting, obviously, possibly wishing they did it under different circumstances, considering what's actually been going on there. Um, but I like her coming back for. I like how this whole story opens up. To be honest, like the first issue, right? How it's the most otherworldly thing that could possibly happen. A floating pyramid in space. News doesn't know what the hell's going on. Then a bunch of like demon creatures come falling out of it, and then like I showed, Diana puts the blood on her face, grabs that helmet, and then goes to town. Um, I love the idea that um no one knows who she is. I like that as well. You know that these are all new heroes, kind of making their mark here, and you do this thing where when she sees the harbingers and this pyramid and stuff, he automatically like this is a woman who is of the world. She knows who these things are. She knows where they come from. She knows what steps are next, which then kind of makes the next thing more intense when he finds and sees the tetracide and is absolutely fucking terrified. So I love how they, I love how they built up our expectations there. Where like she's calm, cool, collected, and then she's like, "Yeah, we all gotta go. We gotta leave this fucking town." What'd you think of the Tetracide, the Harbinger, these kaiju's, and making them the primary antagonist for these initial arcs, in the story?
It gave me when I first saw the pyramid and all the dinosaur-looking creatures flying out from the ocean on the other side of the beach to the city. It was like heavy, heavy New Frontier dinosaur island vibes. I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. I see the vision.
Yeah.
Um, Wonder Woman, like you mentioned, fighting off the Harbinger and like setting the stage for the much larger creatures. Very shonen esque. I love when we beat up the guy that looks so strong. Actually, was just 1/10 of the strength of the person that's coming right now.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. There's also her, which I guess we're still in the beginning of. Like this still hasn't come around, but her relationship with the military,
Right.
which is like, how could you, how could you let this immigrant give you orders? You know, like that type of shit. But we haven't really gotten to how that's going to come around in the story yet. I'm sure that we will. I'm sure it'll tie into humanity's distrust eventually, but
Well,
it's all smooth.
who is Kale working for?
I I assumed herself. Does she have?
Is it
Because
not
she
a wing
seemed
of the
pretty high on
military
the.
or a wing of the like some sort of armed forces or whatever? Because they have an Area 41, I think is what they call it instead of 51. So she has some sort of governmental oversight. And if
Oh, you know what? She's
the director of
is she
something,
not like yeah, I was gonna say she's like the Amanda Waller almost. She's got the damn Suicide Squad.
yeah,
Uh but she's definitely high up enough that she's got like direct connection with the Joker, Jack Grimm, and
yeah.
other members of the Justice League. She's in the Justice League. We should talk about that. There's the Justice League. We've
Oh
mentioned
yeah,
that in
yeah, yeah.
other
Well,
absolute universe
do you remember
books
Victoria Kale from just mainline regular comics?
vaguely. Now that you mention her first name,
Yeah, she was in the New 52. They said she was a abducted scientist on a, Long Island. I don't know what that is. A DC Rebirth. She was a leader of a mysterious organization, Godwatch. Um, I'm trying to find out.
can't be that mysterious if they name it after their
Okay,
purpose.
she is
You
the
know.
president's national security advisor.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty high
Who
up.
the
I
yeah.
don't know if it gets higher than that. So yeah, you want to talk about distrust? If Ale ends up, um, you know, sowing distrust through the government, through propaganda, through all that kind of stuff. She's literally putting together a team to take Diana down. And I want to say it is all because of optics, right? I've not gathered any sort of like these. Man, it did say she was a threat, right? That their
The
fear.
the military will always have fear of the thing that they can't control. They need to control it.
Yeah,
She's not, she doesn't belong to anyone. You know, they don't like that. That's always going to be the conflict.
yeah. It everything's fine as so long as she shares our interests, but the day that she doesn't, you know, line in the
But
sand kind of stuff.
also, she is a disruptor, you know, like Batman, like Superman. They're disrupt in the absolute universe. They're disrupting the natural order of things because the natural order of things is fucking wrong. It doesn't matter if the law says it's right. It's wrong because it feels wrong because it's morally wrong.
Hmm.
The order that you claim is order is not order. So she's just unlawful. Like she's just everything the government would want to put down. So
He's
that's
the
Kale's
opposite
just
of
got
their order. What's
yeah.
interesting is that Kale is the one who had the most evidence of the event of this world in absolute evil. He's the one who does the PowerPoint presentations that are like, "This is Hawkman, this is whatever, whatever. There's a Superman, there's a Wonder Woman, and there's a Batman." Grimm is doing this for fun, but there seems to be a real vested interest with Victoria Kale of understanding and neutralizing these threats. Maybe she does take it to a point where she believes that it's for the betterment of security or any of that kind of stuff there. I do wonder what her pull is in all this. Obviously, she's one of the Justice League. She's trying to preserve a did you see all that stuff that's been coming out lately? I feel like this kind of touches on it, but you see all the stuff that's coming out lately about like the shut up and dribble stuff, like the these actors need to shut up and whatever and not tell anybody about how they. And it's just like, well, like take the position that that you're in and you do your best there for it.
Some sometimes stuff like that I don't even address because it's like, of course, every time they say something that's the opposite of what you think, they shouldn't say it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you should say that thing I don't believe in. You should only say the things I believe in. You
Mm-hmm.
feeble-minded fucks. Like I don't even address that stuff.
Yeah, but I laugh about that because they there was people praising somebody who supposedly dodged a bunch of questions, and it just brought up the whole idea of like um you know people who are not people who are not interested in some people who are not interested in politics are not interested in changing a world that's already fit for them. And there's often illusions that the powers that be are keeping a very tight grip on the control panel, lest we ever get an inch of control. But this just illustrates it blatantly with Victoria. I mean, sorry, is it Veronica? Victoria? One of those. Um, uh, and Grimm and Hammond and all these other characters, right? Like these guys are literally keeping their fingers on the button. They any sort of resistance they need to squash because it is an exact opposite of what they believe the world. They're winning. They're winning. Like they're
Yeah.
Tiger Blood, Charlie Sheen. They're winning, and they're not allowing anybody else to get a foothold on a world that's I I don't know how I'm saying all this because I don't know necessarily if I blame them. If I woke up in a world where for some strange reason everything was going my way, I don't know if I would have the empathy to be like, oh, that person over there starting fires to fix the world or whatever, like and disrupt my apple cart. It takes real empathy to not just focus on yourself, be individualistic, and squash out any rebellion of people trying to stop you from making your a millionth buck or whatever the fuck.
I do think there is a point where where some people, anyway, and I don't think there's a lot of people, but some people have made so much money that it can't possibly affect you, like personally. You know, like it can't. There's nothing that can affect you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like uh Grimm is one of them where it's like it's not he's not even doing it because it would affect him. He's been around for fucking millions or hundreds of years. Like he just likes things the way they are. You know,
Hmm.
like I'll maliciously shut it down because I don't want things to change. And there's a lot of that. There's just a lot of people like that in the world today. This is which is what makes the absolute universe so goddamn compelling. Seeing these heroes do the things that we can't do in real life. It's just what they were supposed to be about in the first. This is what comic books are. God damn it.
Yeah,
This is this is this is escapism. They tell it like, oh, I don't want to see the politics in my book because it's supposed to be escapism. No, no, fucking grabbing up the evil, beating the shit out of it, spitting in his face, and telling it to get the fuck out of here and don't come back. That is escapism because you just can't do that in reality.
I I I imagine Clark is in a better position now than when we like when we first met him and all that kind of stuff there. I would love to see Diana and Clark together. I would love to see her be like, "Why are you so mad all the time? Like, why are you so, who are you talking to? A suit? What's going on there?" I think I just like you said, like we said, the whole thesis of this entire line is despite, and despite all the odds being against Diana, Bruce, Clark, they are still choosing to be the paragons of passion, of hope, of compassion. Sorry, of heroics, of bravery, and I think
Fashion.
yeah,
That's uh that's that 1970s Wonder Woman you tried to get us into real fast.
like that. But no, I think that by I like the idea that her villain in this seemingly right now is just a regular woman, like a one without any powers. I like that it's not a god. I like that we're not at that point. Eventually, maybe we will get there, but I like that um he has a human villain because she needs to take out what is hurting humanity, not what's hurting her. She's not concerned about what's hurting her, what's bothering her, or any of that kind of stuff there. Um, what I also like is this idea of the transformative power of love. And I think that this kind of permeates through the other titles because I do think that Bruce makes his circle better. And I do think that Superman is making Jimmy and Lois better. And I think in this, Wonder Woman is going to improve the lives of
I
her circle.
I don't know if Bruce made his circle better. Not yet. I don't think I don't
Fair.
think they would agree with you.
Maybe it's the other way around then. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they made
I
him
I
better.
hope I hope eventually they will.
I know
Because right
Oz. I
now
know
shit is
Oz is not
rough.
feeling it right now. I know Oz ain't trying to hear none of that shit right now. He'd curse me out if he could hear what I'm saying. But um, I love that they are able to build their own sort of resistance out of regular humans that are on the ground without powers. I really, really dig that. And uh, we had the big moment in Absolute Batman, where Batman takes over the airwaves and kind of calls Bane out. What do you think of Wonder Woman's version of that, where she basically pleads with humanity to sort of hear her out? I have many of you do not believe me, but I assure you, you're about to become believers. Panic and the chaos that brings will now be almost as deadly as the tetracide itself. And so I need you to be calm. I need you, especially those of you that are hearing this message now, to help your friends and neighbors. Kindness and compassion are all that will save us now. I came to save your city, but today it seems it will be up to each of you to save your city instead. I know you can do it. Wonder Woman believes in
But look at her face. Look at Wonder Woman. Like, not only do I believe that she believes in me, I will do anything she wants.
you.
what what do you like she even there's a point after that where she tells the reporter like instead of the constant negativity you put on the airways, try to play that on the loop. It's much more hopeful. You know, it's like damn.
but doesn't like call him like a jerk or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I know you're doing something messed up. But you have time to fix it. You have time, still have time to make it better, kind of stuff. And yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I can't express it because I just am not that well versed in art. But Hayden Sherman is able to present a level of vulnerability with Diana that is inexplicable.
warmth,
It just comes
vulnerability.
it just comes right through the eyes. Like you were just saying, like that scene there, you can see he's not saying it. Think about like I'm the Batman, right? Like I'm fucking gonna beat up Bane. Like the image of him on the screen is so much different than the image of hers. And she knows how important that image is, right? Because ultimately, if she's the one who knows what's going down, everyone has to listen to her or die. She could have came with that sort of tone. Hey, idiots, you see that thing there? It's gonna kill you all. So do what I say or don't. You'll be screwed either way, kind of situation. But she doesn't. She pleads. Why? Pleads for their own lives. Pleads for them to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That takes a level of patience and love that I don't even know if I have. I tell these kids, hey, do it. If you don't do it, then okay, it is what it is. I ain't got the patience to talk you into it, kind of stuff there. But I really, really liked that moment there because it shows how she views all of humanity, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I like I said earlier, it's one of those things that it's inspiring. It's inspiring. Right? I wish I did have that kind of compassion in me, and maybe I'll try to learn some.
Get it to Diana. Um, we eventually get to a point where let me see if I have um through her trying to stop this tetracide, and boy, what a nightmare creature, right? This thing looks like the Cloverfield Lane or the Cloverfield monster, but also emits a scream that causes people to like um what is it, like stampede towards it. Causes everyone to try to just go right towards it, which causes people to either be eaten by it or stomp each other out in an attempt to get closer to it. What do you think about that nightmare
Yeah,
feel of a monster
yeah,
there?
that's if there was something they were saying there, I kind of went over my head because of how just horrific it was on the surface level. Like
Yeah.
that like what the fuck?
I guess it's the human
Uh,
idea of panic, right? Like how we become mindless lemmings that will trample all over each other, both metaphorically and physically. In when it comes to what is it? I think there's a lot said in general about humanity when the going gets rough, right? And how quickly we are to dispose of one another or not care about one another. Um, what Diana did was the antithesis of what the tetracide does, because the tetracide brings people in to hurt each other, and she stopped for a moment to get everyone to help each other. And then, like, you think, like, okay, well, what's Diana gonna do to stop this thing? And it's like, I have to make everyone deaf for a little bit. I hope you're cool with that, everyone. And we start to build a newfound family for her. We meet Etta Candy and we meet Gia Candy.
Gia Candy, yeah.
Is Gia Candy a regular character in Wonder Woman lore? I know Etta.
You know, I know Etta Candy. I don't know Gia Candy, but it. I have to double check. I'm gonna look her up right now
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Obviously, I don't want I'm talking from your memory. If you, I will not blame you if this character has appeared in Wonder Woman 186. For the 2 pages in the back or something like that. But I love
yeah,
again.
Gia Candy. Gia Candy is a absolute Wonder Woman original.
So look at that there, right? Um, the whole conversation, the whole I feel like idea of Gia Candy expounds on the concept that we were talking about earlier of magic being inherently female, like and human, right? Because if the princess of the Wild Isle has to come to a over the counter kind of regular human magic shop, then those things are not out of realm of humanity. They're not out of reach of humanity. We're on the same level here. Um, so I like that as well. I like that she just went to another woman. was like, hey, you got these things. This is like, hey, do you have a hair tie kind of situation? Like we dabble in this.
Yeah,
Everybody else doesn't. Who cares? They don't understand. But I'm gonna need this
she
stuff.
yeah, she's a straight up witch, and she even tells her like, "You're a great witch. Thank you." Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like women empowering each other and shit. Like it feels like even other witch lore or other witches in media often shown to be dog eat dog, right? Agatha kills every other witch to take her witch's powers or whatever the fuck. I want to say in Coven, there's only one supreme, and so there's a fight to the top of that as well. There's no There's no Wonder Woman is not competing with anyone in any of this, especially other women. And I like that. I like that part of her character there. She's calm and cool and finds kinship with another witch who's there. Um, what do you think of her sort of like newfound family? What I have actually termed the gang: Barbara Minerva, Gia Etta Candy, and Steve Trevor. Oh, you're muted. I was like, what's
oh, I
going on?
muted myself.
Yeah, you're good.
I was gonna say it's pretty funny the way they all came together so fast. Like we all just live together now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah,
all just around.
yeah,
This is the cast. Oh shit. Okay, it's like a sitcom.
yeah.
Like when they all
Right.
just get introduced one by one, and then it's like, oh, we all just live here now. Oh shit. Okay.
uh, the issue I just read, the last issue of Absolute Wonder Woman that's out currently, is the first time I saw Steve at work. This is the Tetracide thing. I was like, what do you do,
Then he
bro?
quits.
Yeah. So I was like, what do you do? Like, you've been hanging out at this Wonder Woman's house this whole time or whatever.
He's
And
like,
then
yeah, I know. I gotta quit before they fire me because I haven't been there.
absolutely ridiculous. But to stop this Tetracide, it is decided they have a very, as they do in all these books, every solution Diana comes to was a lesson that she learned in her life. And the book is very good at peppering those flashbacks throughout the story so that you can have the context to how she has the solution to her problems. And so there was a lot of talk about transforming and the transformative nature of love and what she was able to bring to Cersei. And she then uses her transformative lasso nemesis to turn into Medusa and also like a kaiju version of Medusa. And then they also sort of kind of give you a rough retelling of that origin. I didn't realize that they did her wrong too. But I guess this is just a vast history of females in Greek mythology that get screwed over. Because we talk about Persephone later on. Like Persephone got screwed over too.
Yeah, that's a big God, that's such a big thing in Greek mythology. They just
Tricking women.
screw the women, trick the women, you fuck the women over, you do all these horrible things to them. And unfortunately, it's if those stories are they come from I guess all stories come from some place of truth.
Yeah. I think her embodying like one of the biggest like personifications like female rage or female like self empowerment with Medusa. It was really cool in this first arc here. And I also love, and it's not, I don't think it's tropey, the whole like, oh, just like remind her who she is. She'll be back. And I was like, hey, you know, you're Diana. Okay. I didn't mind that being the end of the whole Tetracide angle there, where she uses her eye to turn it into stone and then destroy it. And then is able
There
to be talked down by Steve.
there was a line there where they're talking about how Medusa got raped and then punished for it
Yes. Mm-hmm.
by was it Athena or Artemis? It's Artemis.
Oh, is another
Or
woman?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, isn't it? But I think Wonder Woman even mentions like there's even a lesson in the what Artemis or Athena thought was necessary cruelty because I had to do what I had to do and they probably felt they had to do what they had to do. They even suggested that maybe there was more to the story
Yeah.
than uh than we knew.
I'm looking up quickly her lore, and they do not want to sit on like why she became her. All of her stories kind of sit on Perseus going to kill her, which is very interesting, right? Like, who cares why this woman became or got to
That's not
the
what this story is about.
the stories about her getting her head cut off by fucking Perseus. That is interesting. What a little piece of meta there. Um, yeah, but to be honest, my favorite part of this angle is what happens next because like it's like, oh, save the world, beat the tetracide. I think they're literally having like small talk conversation, and then Hades pulls her back to hell.
She was like, they were like, what are you gonna do next? Are you just gonna go back? And she was like, I would never go back. I can't leave now. I have so much to do.
Yep.
Yoink, and she yanks her back to hell.
And what follows is like effectively like a prince like being brought to the principal's office. Like they bring her, like she gets brought to Hades, and he's like, "How'd you get out? Bring out all your tools. Bring out all your weapons. Whatever." Just kind of like reading her the riot act for being able to escape, and then showing that he has trapped Cersei as well, in hell, or yeah, in the underworld there. So that's also the book that she looks a lot like Rhea Ripley. I don't know if there was any if that was intentional at all. I have to feel like it is. Uh that'd be a hell of a cosplay for her one day if she ever chooses to do it. But yeah, this whole issue sort of reads out as like the principal, you got caught sneaking out last night and now you have to sit in front of him and kind of, beg for forgiveness or whatever. But she's not about any of that. Matter of fact, she's like really sarcastic and shit to him to the point that he's like, "You talk crazy. Is that from your mother or whatever?" um, but she doesn't bow or she doesn't, fret in the face of even Hades himself. What do you think about the depiction of the gods in this? Like the drawings, the actual designs of the Greek gods in here.
I, it's it's always a fine line between familiarity and legality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There is there are descriptions of Hades in these stories that you have to adhere to.
Yeah, it's like
Most
Apollo.
of it,
Apollo's gonna look like Apollo in
you
most
know,
cases because he's the fucking sun, right?
but
Like, how many different ways can you depict the sun?
but they gave him this little floating red crown that kept making me think it was like an emote. Like I
Yeah,
thought he was being like surprised, like, oh, what? Like
yeah.
it's like
That's really
but
funny.
other than that, it's fine. It's cool.
Um, I love that. Then they're like, okay, well, if you want your mom back, you have to basically fight in a gladiatorial fight against this big tiger, woman thing. And again, brilliant artwork with and panel work with this fight here. But you have this moment that I think is really evocative as well, where she's like, "I'm not gonna kill her, and if you make me kill her, Hades, you're less of a god than I thought you were." And he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "You talk to me like that, whatever." And it basically kind of points out that that is the only way to save Cersei is if she were to kill this animal, and she like does like a prayer for this combatant that she murders. Rest easy in your next life, sister. Because again, to go back to like, I think about all the worst things that men write about women, like write women characters or whatever. And one of the other things like they never get along, right? All women are meant to fight each other, to oblivion. And there's none of that with Diana. Even the person that she's meant to fight to the death, she calls her sister. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's well right within the path of how I see Wonder Woman and right with how I would prefer everyone to be, but it just doesn't exist. But I love it. I love it. This was a chimera, so formerly a regular human. She didn't want to have to kill him or her.
What do you think of the
I
lady and the tiger thing?
Yeah, they did that. They kind of juxtaposed like a flashback story that she was told by Cersei where that is all I like is that a real Greek story? I need to brush up on
It
Greek
is.
mythology.
It
I don't
is.
know
I
shit.
don't know if it's a real Greek story. It's a real short story from the 1880s because I wanted to make sure that this thing doesn't have an ending, and it doesn't. That's literally the ending. Is like he points to a direction of a door. For those who haven't heard, it's a really quick story about how a king found out that his daughter was being sought after by somebody who wasn't a prince. Guy is punished by being brought to a room with two doors. One door is going to have a beautiful woman and happily ever after, and the other one's going to have a tiger. The daughter is like, oh, you know what? I'll find out which one has a tiger. I'll find out which one has the woman, and I will give you like a kind of a nod so you know which one to go to. But turns out that the woman is her enemy or someone she is immensely jealous of. So her choices are send her love to die or send her love to be eternally happy with somebody that she doesn't want him to be. And your interpretation of the choices she makes speaks to your kind of idea of humanity and your faith in people. And like kind of what the choice you would make. Like, would you let the love of your life live on happily ever after with somebody else, or is that pain too much to bear and you would just send them to the lions? Kind of. And I think that compassion, I think initially Diana rubs up against that, like, oh, she's a jerk. And then her mother's like, you're assuming that she chose the tiger. And she says, the fact that she even considered choosing the tiger is like choosing the tiger. Like, she should be better than that. And that's just Diana, right? I thought that was a really cool
I
little story there.
I even think maybe it's who I am. Where I was like, damn, I wouldn't even have considered the tiger either.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's like fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe she is a jerk. Um, but yeah, that was really good. That was the way that they used that story in like you gave us a story within a story. Like I'd never heard that before. You know what? But
Yeah.
it's really good. I'm gonna take that with me. And then that moment where Wonder Woman realizes like she was even looking at the story all the way wrong. Like I'm not the princess. I'm the man.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was another great moment.
Yeah. And again, like even when she's on the back foot here, she it isn't like there's no fear in her mind, in her heart. I have this badass panel here where she's telling Hades, you know why I'm so powerful is because keeping me here is unjust and it's shameful, and everyone who knows of it knows the truth of its injustice and demands its reckoning. And it's just like this badass panel of her just enveloped in this red electricity, um, just kind of showing how much of a force that she is in here. But again, in being tried and true and working with women, he ends up bargaining with Persephone and consumes a single pomegranate seed, which means that she has a permanent bond to the underworld and has to go back once a month. Um, did you get this whole thing here? Pomegranate seed thing?
Yeah, so uh Wonder Woman is prophesized to have to leave hell forever, eventually.
Yes.
And this is teased to be the moment where she won't be able to come back. But Persephone, knowing of the prophecy and knowing how this is supposed to turn out, because a lot of these gods had been getting glimpses of the future, of
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman's future specifically, she gives her the pomegranate seed. That plant can only exist in hell by natural law. So because Wonder Woman is in possession of that seed and it grows within her, she has to come to hell for at least 1 month a year. So she gets to see her mother. So like that was cool. And of course, behind the back of Hades, which pissed him off. But these moments between Diana and Hades are some of the I'm not necessarily the best, but definitely the most satisfying moments because she gets to let it all out. She gets to be a badass. She gets to talk her shit to
Mm-hmm.
him. You get like you mentioned, like you showed that panel a couple minutes ago, with all that electricity around her. She looks like a damn, and she's pissed off. She's never pissed off. She's
No.
rarely pissed off, but in this issue, she is fucking furious. You got her mother tied up. You got her all confused in her emotions, thinking about stories from childhood and shit. She's furious, and she's going to come back and get her revenge on him. She's
Yes.
not been that kind of person this whole story. She's been very compassionate and loving, and the enemies that she makes, she doesn't want to make enemies. But this guy, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna spit on your corpse. You wait.
You know what's funny? Um, he, as he would, Hades demands the respect of a god, right? And I think that she offered that respect when she considered him a god bound by the rules of combat or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like she thought that he was somebody that obviously, if you are a god, you believe in some level of law and order. So I can talk you down from making me kill this woman because all of this is something you made up anyway. What does any of it matter? And the fact that he made her, forced her to kill that chimera, almost disillusioned her to the idea of all of them, right? Like almost like, oh, you ain't shit. Like you still, if you can still be petty and you can still be, childish, you can still be have an ego. Then what kind of god are you ultimately? Why am I serving you if you're serving kind of yourself here? But for those who are unaware of the myth of Persephone, he was actually kidnapped by Hades and brought to the underworld. Hades was in love with her, and he tricked her, I believe, into eating pomegranate seeds, which forced her to stay in hell for long periods of time. But um, because of the amount that she ate, she was still allowed to go and visit her mother. So the idea is that Persephone, being the child of Demeter, brings like bountiful harvest during the time where she's with her mother in the spring and in the summer. And then she goes and hangs out with Hades in hell in the winter. Why that's why everything goes to shit. And it gets cold and gets barren. So he used Hades' trick on Hades to get Diana freed, and then looked at him and said, you could break the rule. You can make it so that pomegranates don't make you forced to be down here, but then I'm leaving. So what you want to do? Which I thought was like, again, women working together to fuck over these
That's
guys
awesome.
who
I
have,
actually didn't. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part of it
yeah,
either. The Hades part of it with Persephone. I need to brush up on my Greek mythology for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But I thought that was like a really kind of like pointed, funny, like, all right, the girls worked behind your back and they got it done. Initially, I thought it was a case where it was about visiting Circe. That's what I thought that was trying to be accomplished here, that she would be able to come down and meet her mom. But what she does, right? That's
Yeah,
what she
but
put.
that is what it's for. That's exactly what it's for. Because otherwise, she was going to be banished from hell forever, and they'll
Yeah,
never see each other again until she dies.
she
And for
knocks on
all
Hades'
we
door,
know,
right?
she
And
could be,
Hades is like, "What the
you
fuck?"
know,
She knocks on Hades' door, and Hades is like, "What the fuck? I told you to leave. You're gone forever. You're banished forever." And that's when they let the seed stuff out. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So otherwise, even Cersei was prepared because she had been told, you're gonna lose her once, but she'll come back. And when you lose her the second time, you'll never see her again. And so this was about to be it. But thanks to Persephone, it's not gonna be the case.
yeah.
Of course, unless the prophecy still comes to pass at some point and she gets locked out of hell forever. But here's to hoping it doesn't happen.
Or that the mother gets to leave. I think if her mother left, then there would be no need. I mean, maybe she likes the wild out. Maybe she wants to vacation
Cersei,
the
do we
wild
know
out.
why she was imprisoned? Is that another Greek thing? Or is
No,
this
I'm
just
not sure about
uh,
Cersei in actual. I didn't know whether or not
hell?
Cersei's an actual what you call it.
Yeah, Cersei's got to be. I've heard that in too many forms of fiction for it not to be a long-lasting piece of lore.
She appeared in Homer's Odyssey, so we will see her in Christopher Nolan's.
Thank you,
Uh,
Christopher Nolan.
so thank you. I don't know why that. I don't know why that made me laugh. She's a powerful Greek goddess of magic and sorcery, famed for her expertise in herbs and potions. I'm trying to
Hey,
I'm trying to see if that just makes her like evil or anything. Cersei's the sister of uh Persephone, I think I'm saying that right, and the mother of the Minotaur.
wait, she's Persephone's sister?
No, it's Pasiphae. Asaph the Asaph,
Pasiphae?
something like that.
Pasiphae? Pasiphae?
The Greeks are just screaming at me right now. But
That's a Pasiphae! That's a Pasiphae!
so she's a minor goddess who was banished to the island she lived on. Wild Isle. Okay.
And they put it in hell.
Yeah.
Dark side put it in hell.
As he's one to do. Speaking of hell, like we were just talking about earlier, we're talking about her antagonist. So we gotta mention, like I said, Victoria Kale. Black site. She has a black site facility. And she is doing her own sort of experimentation. Uh, is this like? You think this is like one for one Arc M sort of stuff?
I, I was thinking about it because she's connected to Grimm too. Like specifically, she talks to him and shit.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. That's a great
What was he?
question.
Is he just like, hey, this worked for me? You want to try? You can go ahead and
You should
try this.
try this out.
Yeah. Because she has her own black sites and she has her own sort of people that she's working with. The first person that we're introduced to is Doctor Poison, um, who I only ever knew from the Wonder Woman movie. I don't have much familiarity with the character in the comics. You a big Doctor Poison weeb?
No, well, not. I've seen him before, but it's not like I'm like I need every Doctor Poison appearance.
Yeah. What I
Yeah.
what I dug about Doctor Poison and Victoria Kale in this Veronica Kale, Victoria Kale. What am I saying? It's Veronica Kale. Um, what I really enjoyed about that here is, you already have like the petty sort of, um, I don't know what you want to call it, like subservient relationship, right? Because uh, Poison is working for Veronica against her will, but the pettiness of the suit, the suit upgrade. Were you catching that whole
Yeah,
thing where she's
she's
just
like,
denying
we
her
can't get
just
it for
to
you.
speak?
We can't get it for you. And then she leaves the thing and she's like, we'll never give him that fucking suit. Uh,
that to
Piece of
me,
shit. But that's the
that
kind
to
of
me is the
petty
real
control
evil.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's real
Yep.
evil to me. You know what I'm saying? Just the stuff that you don't even have to do. The stuff that you can't even trace back to your net worth or anything that's valuable that doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. It just makes other people miserable. That to me is like true evil there. And I love that that just keeps coming around. And eventually I think she settles on giving her like the G1 suit. Like the next thing. But this Dr. Poison is not doesn't have a corporal body and is literally just a they don't want to be called the gas. They were almost called the gas last time. They got
Don't
very
be
upset.
disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be a gas hole, but I will say that that they have no corporal body, and seemingly are working for Miss Kale here. They had like mousers. Did you see like the mousers that they had like from TMMT that were doing the tetracide scream?
Oh yeah, the government records the tetracide scream, gets a bad version of it, just enough to hurt the people, and then put them in tiny little spiders, which I fucking knew I'd seen somewhere before. Thank you for bringing that shit up.
I did remind me of
Teenage
like
Mutant Ninja
yeah,
Turtles.
the little
The,
mouser
the
robot things.
funniest, the funniest thing where Wonder Woman doesn't even deal with them. She just does a little magic portal and sends them all to hell to
Yeah,
fuck with Sadie's,
yeah,
to fuck with Hades.
yeah.
That's great. That's just great.
Um, and then the next, like the big arc that we kind of get left on is an arc where she is told that there's another Amazon. And that Victoria has her at the black site. The black site ends up being a maze of some sort, and that's how she finds Ferdinand and the woman, the
Petra, a
siren.
little girl, right? The siren.
Yeah, the siren.
Patricia, Petra.
Petra. And they're an item. think?
No, I think he just saw he cares for her. Like he was like I didn't really think much until Pedro, and then like out when he runs out for her, well later on in the when he needs to calm her down, he kind of just holds her.
Okay.
I saw it as like a father daughtery thing, but I don't know. Maybe I got to go back. Maybe it was the size difference, but she was a little girl. I thought
I thought
for
so too,
sure.
but I don't know what a little girl siren means, right? Like I don't know if that's like 500
You know,
years old, you know, or what the fuck, I don't know what. But
it's playing by it plays by anime rules. Well, she looks 12, but she's 500,
the
so
law of
it's
consent in
okay for them to be together.
consent gets kind of dodgy when you're dealing with minotaurs and fucking sirens and shit. Um,
Jesus,
but I
oh, what's the Minotaur for that sake? We don't know that Ferdinand is not only 17 years old or
yeah,
something. Like, we don't know.
that's
I'm
true. Oh my
Ferdinand the
god.
Minotaur, baby.
um,
I'm a
did
Ferdinand the Teenage Minotaur.
the teenage, yeah. Um, what did you gather from the issue where she fought herself? Felt like I wasn't really grasping on the terms there too much. This
It,
sort of electrical corporal form that she chases through I guess not even America, the world, right? At one point it's in like in the Dominican Republic and shit.
she couldn't catch it. She couldn't catch it. But I, I had mentioned that I think we had seen her be like real compassionate and understanding so far, except for that one point with Hades where we got a glimpse of who she could be.
Hmm.
And she mentioned, just her very presence on Earth invites an opposite energy. I think it is either something um what's the fucking word? It's
Destiny?
something objective that happened. No, because it was metaphorical, and foreshadowing too. It was like the idea that these other supernatural forces are gonna come that are just as powerful as she is. Because then right after this, we get the Zatanna thing. Like they
Yeah.
were just like you know, like they're connected almost. But I didn't think they were actually connected. I thought they were thematically connected. Like it's like Zatanna is the thing that she was describing that lightning as.
Yeah.
Like, like that's kind of how I saw it. Like these are the things that are coming. Like because the gods have conspired to put me in Darkseid's Earth Alpha,
Hmm.
where I am the disruptor, where I am the chaos. These things develop naturally against me. I think that the lightning was just like the foreshadowing for what's coming.
That's interesting. So it's like the whole vision like invites challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
The fact that
yeah.
she exists means that there will be entities out there that would have to exist to oppose her.
And that goes for all of them,
Yeah.
all of the absolutes. I don't know what to call them.
I want Diana to have Batman over to hang out with Ferdinand and Eve and like all these like witches and fucking Minotaur and
She
shit.
basically does. She basically does invite him over, but I haven't read that issue yet. I've only read the first. I read the Wonder Woman crossover issue. I didn't get to read the other half of the duet.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I read the Batman one either. I think I just went. What's funny was that in preparation to read the Batman one, I read this whole run from the beginning. In an effort to get up to that, I think I stopped right short and then just did the Zatanna issue. But yeah, we got to talk about our it girl there. Whoa, back up a little bit. Absolute Zatanna, and I guess we could even
Well,
but
before we talk about Absolute Satana, I did want to say while Wonder Woman was in this maze, Area 42, and she finally finds another Amazon EO, they go through it's really cool. I mean, it's nothing necessary to talk about, but the idea is that she eventually does save everyone down there, including the person that she thought was an Amazon originally, which
the
was
Atlantean,
it's an Atlantean. Yeah,
yeah,
her name was what was her name? Kale or something like that. Kale
damn, now I'm fucking now I'm seeing.
Queen. Her name was Queen. It was like Queen Kale or something. The thing she thought was the Amazon trapped down there, but no, she was an Atlantean. and the actual Amazon EO finds her. They have a great fucking reunion. EO's got this maze tattooed all over her body because
Oh,
she
Clea.
needed to create a map. Clea.
Clea. I
Thank you.
remember
Queen
because
Clea.
I got confused with Marvel Clea. I was like, wait a minute, I've heard this before.
Yeah, Wonder Woman lets her free. She's like, "Hey, girl, got you back to the ocean.
You also have a
I
moment.
hope it
You also
works
have
out."
a moment with EO, right, where Wonder Woman realizes that EO had the strength to escape on her own, and has chosen to stay there
And
and
yeah,
dig tunnel after tunnel in hopes of getting everybody out.
she
So
had mentioned like she knew subconsciously that the people she had come from had to be as compassionate or as compassionate or as loving as she was and as strong as she was, and they were. And she's like she felt a wave of relief wash over her. Like, wow, I fucking love these people, my
yeah,
sisters.
there's a very tender moment where she says something along the lines of like Themyscira was never a place to her because she's never been there, but it was a feeling. And so when she would feel at home, she would feel Themyscira. Like that's what she associated with wherever she had, seemingly had came from. Um, and I think that's super cool. And then even like she just meets Ferdinand there, and then it's like, "You're my brother for life. Like I will come back and get you, bro. You understand? Like I'm coming back. I come back and
She,
getting you." And then she gets him, and she's
it,
like, "You know what? Close the fucking door behind you. I don't care. I'll be in this, and I'll fucking figure it out."
she was very amused by a minotaur being down there. She's
Yeah,
like, a minotaur, of course. A fucking but there's a lot of cute stuff in this art too. She comes in and she sees these water creatures and she calls them fishmen. And then Ferdinand tells her they're menfish.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And forever they just are menfish. Like
yeah,
I think someone even tries to correct it back to fishmen, but they're
yeah.
menfish.
They're men
And
fish.
it's something a little cute. It reminds me of Kanga the kangaroo.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like you like small little
Such
things
a
like
silly,
that.
yeah, such a
One,
silly little name. But even the beginning of the fight, right? Like she gets in there, she sees the Minotaur fighting with the fishmen, menfish, and she is like, I don't know what that Minotaur's up to, so I'm going to throw this lasso around it, and if it's in pain, that means it's bad, and if nothing happens, that means it's good. Throws the lasso, nothing happens. She goes, "I it is what it is," and then she's putting up the dukes, and her and Ferdinand start whooping some. Like again, like I cannot, um, I cannot overestimate the lack of hesitation on Diana almost at all times. If I had to compile it into a moving image, it is the moment in BVS where Diana gets smacked by Doomsday and then like smiles and runs back into the fight. Like I think that's one of the
yeah,
best character moments of that character in BVS there. Um so how do you think uh Hale is going to manage to stop her with this new merry band of women? This new Suicide Squad headed by Absolute Zatanna with Doctor Poison, a version of Cheetah that's not Barbara Minerva because Barbara Minerva's hanging out at the HQ with Diana, Giganta, and I some people were
yes, it
saying that
is.
that is Nina. Uh,
Is it
that's what I was
from
hearing, bro.
fucking Creature Commandos?
Yes,
Oh shit!
that's what I was hearing. Which I mean,
They put a fucking bomb in their neck.
newfound newfound popularity, so I can see how that character could end up getting roped into something like this. But yeah, what do you think about these people opposing Diana?
It it appears to me that this is the phase where they work to dismantle Diana's name in front of the public. Like I don't know if they're meant to beat her as much as they're meant to help her make a mess.
Yeah,
So I mean, we are not there yet, but I think it's about to get real messy. The Zatanna Wonder Woman connection that they've established off the back, where Zatanna thinks she's a cutie. She's like, God, those eyes, you're hot. And
yeah,
Wonder Woman even calls her hot too. Like at one point, she's like, man, she's really pretty. This is the first time that Wonder Woman has shown like overt interest and attraction. Like, shit, I have that shit for Steve, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Shit, I
You're
have
right.
that shit for Zatanna.
You're right. Yeah,
And Zatanna has it back for her. So I am almost like, let's take this beyond the jokes. Like, let's make
And
this shit happen.
show you the real Wild Isle. You know what I'm talking about?
I would love for them to go all the way with it. Just have them be together, two magic fucking lesbian witches.
So
But
do you see Zatanna eventually turning babyface?
yeah, there was just there's too much charisma and energy between them already. Like from the first words, like from the day that they meet and they look each other in the eyes. From before Wonder Woman even knew that Zatanna was watching her, and Zatanna was like, "Wow, like uh, she's beautiful." I love that energy. I can't wait to see where they go with this, and I do think that Zatanna is going to turn. I think all of these women have a reason to turn. They have all been held against their will by the government. Diana will find sisterhood with them because that's what she does.
Yeah. And again, like if all these mini arcs are any indication, Diana would be the antithesis of Veronica, right? So like she would make all these women work together in like something good, possibly, right? Um, all of those people that I mentioned, besides if that is Nina, are villains. And maybe it would be too cliche to just make them all villains again. Maybe there is a way that they all come, circle back in and become heroes. But another thing is, we can't assume Zatanna's allegiance to Kale because she was. All of this is because she's in jail, effectively, right? Like when we see her, she's in a Hannibal Lecter esque, get up where she can't speak or risk a spell coming out and stuff. So we still have to find out where she came from. Is there an absolute Zataro? Like these are questions. These are the questions, the burning questions. And yeah, like what direction are they willing to go in if they're gonna like they've explored the DC magic portion quicker than I don't think I've ever seen it explored since the beginning of opening a universe. You know, it took Arrow 4 seasons to be like, ah, yeah, there's some magic in here. Like, kinda. Here's Damon Dark fucking stopping the arrows or whatever the fuck is going on here. Um, I like that they have brought this up as a fundamental piece of the DC universe. All right, mythology and magic are they're right there with aliens, right? And they're right there with the regular guy who is just doing his best as far as Batman is concerned. Um, I am circling the drain a bit. Is there anything else you want to talk about specific? Absolute Wonder Woman.
Well, the Wonder Woman Batman crossover, at least the Wonder Woman half of it,
Mm-hmm.
felt like the beginning of what's eventually going to become whatever this big team up is. Whatever becomes of all the separate heroes in the absolute universe that Wonder Woman is very, very interested in teaming up with.
Yeah.
I think it all starts here. It's interesting that it was her and Batman first, but that it's her that reached out. It's at her that initiated it, and I think it's gonna be her that is the leader of whatever group they become. Like instead of Superman in the
Yeah.
center, I think it's gonna be her.
I can totally see her being like the only fucking sort of mitigation between those two.
Bro, she built a fucking Hall of Justice in the forest.
Yes.
Like, come on, bro. Like, she already lives in the Hall of Justice by herself. She just gotta invite the rest of the crew in. And I know people are gonna be like, no, it's so good. All the books are so good, so separate, bro. Once we
What's
hit year
funny?
3, get that shit going.
Are you down with a Diana led team?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what we've been leading towards all this time. That's why I'm like the books of all the absolute universe books. It's so interesting that this is the one that's been like, oh, like this is gonna be where the universe gets addressed. This is gonna be where the fight against Darkseid starts. Like this is where it is because they already know they're fighting something.
Yeah.
They don't know it's Darkseid yet, but they know they're fighting something. Batman doesn't know yet. He's still dealing with his bullshit. Superman doesn't know yet. Nobody else knows they're all dealing with their own fucked up world. They don't know that the world's meant to be that. The world's
Fundamentally,
not meant to be
something's
that way.
fundamentally wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's cool. She also she's also they both Batman and Wonder Woman talked about Superman. Like that's so Superman's gonna be the next Charles for sure, for sure. She's gonna meet Superman very
Yeah.
soon. Like that's gonna come. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this book takes the entire absolute universe. I want to see what comes of what these gods have been teasing. What's this ultimate purpose they have for Diana in this universe? It's gonna be great. I can't
Yeah.
wait to come back together and talk about it in another 25 issues or whatever.
100%. And I think that her compassion is what's going to be necessary to lead. Her ability to get all these people together and whatever the hell Wally's doing, get his ass roped in here. So get the cigarette smoking John
Bring the
Jones on
monkey.
the fucking John Jones gonna be like, fuck this. I don't know half of you guys here.
Who's
But
that? The press guy in the corner.
chain smoking cigarettes and talking to himself. He
Send him back.
he is as important as everyone else. You know, I can already see it now. But I do, like I said, I do like the tone shift in this book. I do like that the stories, for the most part, end with Diana still being optimistic in some shape or form. I think about some of the ways, some of the depths that we've dealt with in Absolute Batman, and I don't feel like we've dealt with anything as dark in here. I like that she is a constant battle against that. You know, it might sound cliche, but it's all too easy to be be enveloped by the darkness that you were born into, and by her again, despite being born in hell and being damned, her, choosing to fight for the weaker ones of us is just a testament to what this absolute universe is trying to accomplish, which is to inspire all of us to realize that not where we come from, it's what choices that we make that define who we are. And sometimes where you come from is not an excuse. You can't just hand wave it away by calling yourself a dumb redneck is what I'm trying to say. But
I
but
think that you. I think that the environment that you come from is always going to be the foundation, no matter what. What you build on top of the foundation is up to you.
yes,
Um,
it's not a
that
death
being
sentence
said,
though.
that being said, I don't. I think it's most important that if you're not hurting anyone or yourself, it is okay to live your life as you see fit. Okay,
100%,
that's fine. You can.
100%.
I'm not.
I agree.
I'm never want to condemn someone for not doing something the way I wish they would if
Right.
I had been in their position. As long as you're not being malicious or
Do no
hurting
harm.
someone else, or yourself, you're
Yes.
fine. Whatever.
Yes.
It's fucking existence. It's the only one we have.
Yes. But as Diana would say, if we know this is the only existence we have to be kinder to each other.
Good.
Make this time worthwhile by helping each other out, and getting through it. We're only ever gonna get through this once. No one wants to get through it alone. No one can get through it alone. So have more compassion for your fellow man, more empathy towards those that are dealing with struggles that you may not understand, and you'll. I believe that energy is cyclical. I think it's one of the things that we have not kind of like figured out. Our ant brain, you know, situation. I do think that we have the ability to create energy, put it out into the world, and it comes back. I believe that I'm not a religious person, right? But I believe that the same kind of energy that permeates a church, like at the height of its praise and music and stuff like that, is the same energy that permeates like a wrestling event, which is the same energy that permeates like a concert. Like that energy that people feel that you can give to one another that can be multiplied in groups. All of that stuff I feel like is palpable, and I feel like all that stuff is real. And so if any of that sounds rational to you, put good energy out and it will come back around. Because the good energy that you give will be multiplied by the people you give it to. And then when you find yourself running out of it, they will have it in abundance because of how much of it you were able to give. And I think that's what we're learning with Diana. She's making everybody around her better just by her being the example. And being the example and not being preachy. Not again, right? She's not telling everyone that they need to do exactly how she lives her life. Or, like she's not walking around slapping um, you know, burgers out of people's hands and being like, those kill cows. Like she's not trying to lecture anyone. She understands that people can fall through the cracks of morality, but he's trying to make people make more purposeful decisions and make them realize that they have the power and the choice over their circumstances. Because it's so easy. And I think that's the weakest part of all this, right? Like weakest part of living is just the relinquishment of accountability. Like, ah, I was born to who I was born to. I was born to where I was born. Can't fix that. I'm a piece of crap. I'm a piece of crap. Like that sort of defeatism, I can't. I don't vibe with. So Diana's almost like the antithesis of that, right? Like she's the exact opposite of that. Where don't tell her the odds. She will get to where she has to get to, regardless of what you think of her because of where she comes from. And that's all I think we all kind of strive to be have that love and respect for each other, regardless of where we come from. Fingers crossed that this becomes contagious. Um, but if that's all you got for this, I'm ready to close this up. Think we did a good job here?
I loved it, as
I
I always do. I have
Yeah.
never hated an episode of Major Issues.
No, this was fine. I really, really liked joining into this. Diana more than anybody else, I feel like, or her stories, you don't need to go panel by panel, arc by arc. It all just is a garden that is constantly growing and creating this overarching narrative again of compassion, of transformative love, of forgiveness, of mercy, and then sometimes of cracking your knuckles and getting the job done when you have to. So, um, huge thanks to Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman for doing a knockout book. And you're gonna see we might be taking a break in between our dissecting absolute series to cover Wonder Man. I'm trying to see what the demand for the man is right now. But if not, we'll just be back we'll talk about Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter very, very, very soon. Did you see Wonder Man?
I watched the first two episodes. I thought it was good. I haven't finished it yet. I was more wondering if we should um put the Dark Knight Returns in there because it's the 40th anniversary on February 26th.
Interesting.
Uh it's and in 1996 is like a watershed
I am
comic book year. Like
I'm
there's like
putting
so
I'm
many
off of what you
yeah.
said, I'm putting together an article that hopefully will be out by the time this comes out about the evidence behind Absolute Batman being an answer to Dark
Isn't
Knight
that cool?
Returns.
And when you
The
look
more
into
I
it,
look into
oh,
it,
oh my gosh.
the more I see it. Yeah.
Before you put the article together, the other day, like I was deep diving into the Dark Knight Returns. I mean, I've read it like I don't know how many times now, but I don't remember like deep diving into it, like looking up creators' intent and interviews and all that stuff. But I didn't know. Yes, I because I bought the Dark Knight Returns animated series when it first came out in two parts. It
Mhm.
was two Blu-rays, so you had the. Eventually, they released a deluxe edition that had the whole movie edited into one, and a fucking 2-hour documentary, not on the movie, on the comic book.
Oh,
I was like, huh,
an interesting
holy
little.
shit! So that was it was awesome. It was incredible. It even got into like the disagreements between Frank Miller and Klaus Janson as far as like Klaus's inking and how Frank just started doing it himself towards the end. And I was like, "Oh my god, like this is fucking awesome."
Oh yeah.
But really a lot of like direct explanation on some of the things that people have kind of found controversial over the years, like the Superman interpretation and what did that mean and what it was meant to address at the time. And it's so good. I would recommend taking a look at that before you finish your article whenever you can.
Okay.
It's on fucking, it's going to be on YouTube.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like every DVD extra in existence is on YouTube because copyright people don't look for DVD
DVD
extras.
extras. Yeah.
Like,
It
who
is. It
looks
is
for
kind of
extra
hilarious.
featurettes?
There's a treasure trove of any DC animated movie, any of that kind of stuff. They all have some featurettes up there on YouTube. And you're right. I think The Dark Knight Returns might be the biggest Batman story we haven't covered yet,
And
considering everything
it's
else we
my
have.
favorite, my goddamn favorite one. Like
Its
it's the
40-year anniversary
it's
is a
the
perfect
one.
example, a perfect reasoning, especially with our new eyes to what we've seen with Absolute Batman. So yeah, I'll definitely we'll be having a talk about that here soon. To find out when exactly we'll be covering all that stuff, you guys will have to go to comicbookclique.com. The one-stop shop for everything Comic Book Clique. Articles written by us, reviews from people all over the world. It's where our merchandise lives. And it's where you can get every episode of the Major Issues podcast, which we're up on episode 418 now. That is over 800 hours of content talking about the latest and greatest to come to comic books and comic book media. We're at Facebook.com/comicbookclick, Instagram at comicbookclick, and you can use the hashtag comicbookclick to talk about the newest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books, comic book media. We're at Major Issues CBC on Twitter, at Major Issues CBC on Twitch. And if you go to patreon.com/CBC Clubhouse, for as little as 10 cents a day, $3 a month, you can help us afford the hardware and the software we need to keep providing you guys content free of charge. We do all this stuff as a labor of love, free of charge. But, any sort of support that you could kick back over to us helps us out. So yeah, consider becoming a Patreon. If not, share, word of mouth about this podcast. So we can grow more followers. We are at comicbookclick.com. We're lucky enough to have a hub where all of our stuff is. So go ahead and check out that. That's the one-stop shop for everything that we do here. And we share comicbookclick.com with the lovely people over at Dirt Sheet Radio, the industry leaders in all things professional wrestling and pop culture. Jonathan Escudero put a flag in the sand and said that he was going to go ahead and he was going to take over this industry one PLE at a time. And they said, okay, so here's 4 PLEs in a week. And the fight has been continuing.
Not like that.
But still, despite, very much like the Absolute Universe, despite this shitty world that we live in, John Escudero has managed to still foster a community that is, first of all, humongous, but also that loves this medium, that is passionate and will discuss it. Fans all over the world, top podcast in Mexico. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff going on over at Dirt Sheet Radio. So when you guys get exhausted of things Comic Book Click, I would implore you to head over there. Is there anything you want to plug, sir?
Now, just make sure you check out Dirt Sheet Radio, the latest place for pop culture entertainment, pro wrestling news. Google us, Dirt Sheet Radio. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. We're everywhere. Make sure you check us out. Yeah, but also check out Major Issues because we're over here all the time.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, and I don't even say that to be like cocky, but you can literally Google Comic Book Click Major Issues. You can literally Google Dirt Sheet Radio. We're the first ones to pop up. You don't have to go past the ads. We're here. We're coming on a 10-year anniversary in 2 months. Here. And it's been a labor of love, especially now that it's become more laborious as I'm hoping to make this my full-time job. And all the signs are pointing in the right direction as all the, as we continue to get more fans, as we continue to meet more creators and to talk about, the stuff that we're passionate in. All signs are looking for a stellar 2026. You want to be here for that. You don't want to be here in 2027 hearing about all the cool shit that we did last year. Get on the bandwagon before the bandwagon gets full and join us next week. And who knows what we'll be covering as part of the Major Issues podcast. But there seems to be nothing else left to say. But my name is George Serrano, aka The Don.
And this is John Escudero, aka Yogi.
And this has been our Dissecting Absolute Wonder Woman deep dive. And remember, whether you were born in hell or Paradise Island, have 2 functioning arms or just one magic one, can talk to animals or just like to be around a really skeletal Pegasus horseman. Remember that it's always about compassion. Remember that love is transforming. Remember that we are the Click, and always remember that you, yes, you are worthy. Thanks, guys.